Hello, and welcome back to Shelter. I don't know, I guess this is a flashback, right? Maybe. Lots of things are happening. It's exciting. Yes, it, I was unsure if it was still even possible to save him. He was so terribly cold. And even with my extensive knowledge of mana manipulation, I had absolutely no grasp over the structure of his spirit. There was nothing I could do but keep him warm and hope for the best. What is he exactly? What is your name? The stranger, wrapped in monster furs, struggled to sit down. He does not tremble from the cold anymore, but his limbs are still unstable. He opens his mouth and tries to say something, but a strong coughing fit jerks his whole chest. He forces it to calm down, but I see him trying to form words with his lips, but he cannot. It is fine. Do not overexert yourself. Calm down. I scoop, scoop. Scoop some of the thinner soup out of the stew with a small copper helmet. Okay. I had found during my travels. It was covered in. It was caved. Is this one of those recording sessions? I think it might be. Into the skull of its previous owner, an unfortunately rodent traveler. However, I fixed, cleaned, and repurposed it for a bowl. I have grown a particular appreciation for fixing broken things over the past few years. The stranger reaches his arm out and tries to grab the rim of the bowl. I carefully let go. But he winces in pain, and the bowl slips out of his hand. I barely caught it, but a lot of the piping hot soup splashes over my arm. He looks at me in shame, and and his lips tremble, trying to force out words of apology. No, it is fine. Everything is okay. It does not hurt. Indeed. I have grown so desensitized over the years of my lonely quest, I actually started to welcome distractive sensations like that. Sometimes I would bring them on me on purpose. Okay. Dear. I sit down close to the poor fellow and start blowing over the liquid to cool it down. It does not smell pleasant. The dried vegetables I used were very stale. Only the meat was brought more recently, but I possessed not even a single grain of salt to bring out the flavor. Now, I know it is not great, but please, bear with it. You need it. Think of it like medicine, right? Sometimes you need to force yourself to do what you do not want, for your own good, and... My hand stops. How can I say something like that after everything I have done, and seeing what it brought upon everyone? I have not a clue what good is. What do I think I am even doing right now? A deceiver and mass murderer pretending to be good dog. I do not care who you are. I shall protect you with my life. How impudent? Of me. Someone like me has no right to strive for good. I am only using him to feel better about myself. He guides the bowl towards his purple, parched lips, and takes a small sip of the soup. I get brought back to attention by the touch of his hand below mine. Good job. Take your time, and... He twitches. He swallows the soup and lets out a gasp of relief. His cheeks flush red, and his trembling lips dig deeper into my hand. For the first time, I finally see the strength of his life glowing with passion. His blue eyes sparkle and swell with tears. He tilts the bowl higher to take another gulp, so eagerly that some of it drips down his chin. And I start crying too. He points at himself and tries to say something, but his throat is still sore. It is adorable in a way. He is like a mute little puppy. In frustration, he tries to write something on the rocks below, but their surface is too smooth. I think he really wants to share his name with me.
Huh. It is fine, really. Give it a little more time. It has been only 2 days since I found you, and you are healing really well. I am certain that you will regain your voice soon enough. In a couple days, we should be able to leave this cave and take you to the...
Yes. Where exactly? What should I do once he returns to full health? It has become obvious to me that he is someone unique. He could even hold the key to all the mysteries I thought were hopeless to pursue all this time. Would it really be wise to let him go? He is so small and frail. I could easily imprison him and harvest for samples. With all the knowledge I possess, maybe I could rouse his spirit to finally find out what species he is. He is sentient. He can definitely experience and express the same depth of emotions all other species can. If that is the case, then I know I can put him through anguish strong enough for his spirit to open bare for me. I have done that so many times before, after all. What is one more sacrifice to the giant mountain of corpses, if that could give me tools to help my brothers in some way? I hold a knife in my hand, and a compulsive thought buzzes in my mind. If I can release and consume some of his blood, then I can easily confirm or deny his special nature. Either he is just a rodent or a Surian with a weird inborn corruption, and he holds no value to me. Or he is the breakthrough I have been searching for all this time. I growl and plunge the knife's edge deep into the flesh. Warm, dark red blood oozes down, and it freezes as soon as it drips down onto the cold stone.
It is okay. It is fine. Please, forgive me for scaring you.
I slowly unwedge the knife out of my forearm, and drop it onto the ground. I feel better now. No more stupid ideas. No more sacrifices. I cannot fall asleep. It is nothing new to me. I do not remember when was the last time I had a restful night. Even alone, my mind was always full of voices. However, loneliness is not the issue tonight. The opposite is true. Even though the strangers is not at risk of dying from cold anymore, I still offered to share my warmth with him for the night. That is what us canines do in the cold, after all. He is not a canine, though. I can clearly see the smell. His excitement is what I can imagine is quite an unusual predicament to him. I, in turn, cannot contain my own arousal either. I keep him in my embrace, and as hard as I try to calm myself down, I know it is impossible for him to not notice the growth in my loins. I gulp. He gulps. We stare at each other. Our lips part, and... No. Do not separate from me. You do not want to get lost again, do you? Just keep walking straight. Somehow I was convinced to not lead my companion back to Mooresburg. He really wanted to keep walking north. and I could not agree to let him go on his own. I decided to help him on this one single trip. I started to feel responsible for his one life. I myself made a quick trip to Mooresburg to restock on food, and by next morning, we were ready to set off. I made him promise to stick close to me and make sure we never separate. That went fine for a while. But for the last hour, he has been acting a little weird. He would start to take random turns when we were supposed to simply keep walking forward. Admittedly, that started to irritate me, especially since I myself kept getting confused, and I had to readjust our directions every time I had to walk back for him. It is so easy to get lost in the environments of pure white. Just keep walking forward. How hard can it be? God damn it. Dog damn it. Dog.
What? What now? Do you need a break? Is that why you stopped walking?
He shakes his head.
Look, maybe I misunderstood you, but you wanted to go straight north, right?
He nods.
Then what is the problem? Why do you keep turning and stopping? Just follow me. We are going north like you wanted. No turns or twists. Just straight as an arrow. North. I have been traversing these tundras for 5 long years. I know them. I have been looking for something here too. And I know their every nook and cranny. You can trust me.
What? He points at the snow-covered grounds. I look at our footprints. I set my big bare feet on his smaller shoe prints and press into the snow. I do not know what he wants to show me. Then he points at the trail behind us. I cannot notice anything out of the ordinary, but I see that great frustration in his eyes, so I do my best to investigate whatever he tries to show me. There is nothing. But I try still, and it is surprisingly hard. My head hurts and I start feeling nauseous, like if I am looking at something not meant to be seen or understood by my mind. Then I finally realize it. My companion's trail of small footprints keeps following a fairly straight line for as far as my eye can see. It has been me who kept taking sharp turns all this time.
What the hell?
An ancient metal temple here? Impossible. I have traveled through these lands for all those years. How could I have never noticed this place? And look at the size of it. All of those relics are in perfect condition. This may very well be the greatest discovery in all of recorded history. I look at my companion. He was the one who led me here by hand, keeping me on course, whatever my mind tries to force my legs to take another step. My curiosity in him only grows. Why was he not afflicted? Why is he thinking... what is he thinking now? Looking around this mysterious hall of pure steel? A monster. It is unsafe here. We have to get out of here and return another day with more people, better armed. I expand my senses to learn its location. Roughly 200 meters ahead of us. It is not alone. There are many monsters scattered all across the temple. Then I can feel it. Both happiness and despair fill my heart. I can tell for certain that my brothers are here too.
Hold on, please!
I did it again. I pursued my selfish goals with disregard for another person's life.
Why, Burry? You stupid fuck, why? Keep your eyes open. Stay awake.
He heaves and wails in pain. His eyes are losing their focus. And then he slowly grows limp in my arms.
No!
I kick the heavy door behind me and drop on the floor, putting my unconscious companion down. There is a lot of blood. He is gravely hurt. I drop his severed arm in the pool of blood and fasten a piece of cloth around the leaking stump. I may be too late, but he has already bled so much, and it is all my fault. I should have discouraged him from going any further. He should have gone down to Mooresburg and hired some help. We should have, yes. But I did not want anyone else to hurt my brothers down like some common monsters. I wanted to deal with them with my own two hands. They assaulted us, and while we were able to fight off one or two at a time, my companion was bitten. Gus tore his whole forearm off, and almost lost my life. And I almost lost my life in order to retrieve it. That's what. Now I sit down in the dark, cold room with my knees dipped into the puddle of his blood. I managed to absorb and keep hold of a single charge of Surian mana. But is it going to be enough to save his life? I know how to use their regenerative power, after all. I used it to heal the subjects of our experiments. So, they could not escape us even in death. But this is different. I know my limits. And this is more than I can handle. My mind is not in the right place either. I need clarity for an operation like that. Yet I am overwhelmed with emotion. All of my life has been hell, and I inflicted hell on others. I was ready to finally forsake myself and join my brothers. But through the past week, I finally experienced something new. Hope? In what? I do not know anything. I do not know that. And it does not matter anymore. In my endless mindlessness, I broke the vessel of that hope, and now I watch it bleed dry. He was my one and only spark of unexpected in my life. Once he is gone, this is the true end for me too. I look down at the puddle of blood. I cannot ignore its smell. It is different from the blood of any species I know, and it is rich with his mana. Before he dies, and before my own eternal punishment gulps me, I need to know. I bring my mouth to the floor, to the glistening crimson. I part my lips, and I almost forgot about the turrets and the cable. It feels like I'm living through those events again. I relive one of the lowest points in our respective lives, this time from his perspective. No matter how much he strove to better ourselves, or how hard we clung to the brief moments of happiness, despair was ever present. It patiently waited for those moments of weakness to let itself be known again. That must be true for every dog in shelter. I can feel it all of those in all of those shards of experiences of flowing through me. None of them is completely free of grief. Knowing that, we should have we should. Why should? No, not we. Why? Well, why should they keep trying? Why should I not just give up right now? Why? Why cannot I do this? Okay. I part my lips, and I stop. I have dedicated my life to pursuing knowledge. Now I know I could bring myself closer to the truth if only I drank this. No harm in that. It has already been spilled, after all. So why am I hesitating? I see my reflection in it. I look pathetic. Is that what he saw when we first met? Was he trying to wipe my tears with his hands that time? Now, there is no one to wipe them. They drip down my snout and mix with the blood. I wonder if I wonder if he would still do the same if he knew how bad of a dog I was. I grab his severed arm and stick it back on his stump. I take a few deep breaths, trying my best to clear my head. I cannot do this. I do not have enough mana. This is impossible. Impossible. But I have to try. I need him to hear everything. I do not want to be forgiven. I only want him to know the truth about myself. I need him to listen. So I start telling him everything. I tell him about my brothers. I share with him all of the most awful details of my past sins. I spill my heart to him, from the regrets of my childhood years to the most insane gruesomeness of my adult life. I do not hide anything. Every single thought that has been weighing on my conscience is for him to hear. But just as my words spill from my mouth, so does the blood from his body. The flesh does not mend fast enough. The clotting blood liquefies again under my magic. But there are too many severed veins and nerves for me to comprehend and connect at once. Both the sparks of his life and the remnants of the Surian mana within me are slowly dying out, like candles running out of a wick. Soon it will be over. But at the very least, I know to say my piece before the curtain was closed, right? Wrong. Who cares how I feel about my past? I am not going to help anyone by showing how sorry I am. I do not need to be right or good. I do not need to seek punishment either. I do not need to be anything at all. With every life lost in pursuit of the truth, I only strayed further from it. Now I see it so clearly. The reason why it has always eluded me, just outside arm's reach. If there is a truth in this world, it is not to be seen in absolutes. It does not have one form. It is the vast potential of life itself. And his own should not be over just yet. Thank you for saving me again. You are a good boy.
I am not. If only you heard everything I told you when I was healing you.
I did. I heard everything.
Did you? Now, how can you still say something like that?
Every boy is a good boy. Simple as that.
That is blatantly untrue.
He laughs. There is so much brightness in his voice. Somehow, I feel embarrassed to disagree with his nonsense. Thanks a lot. After learning more about you, I think I'm starting to understand our purpose here.
Our purpose? What do you mean?
You promise not to laugh?
For as little weight as my words hold, I do.
He smiles. He is so beautiful with his smiles. You and me, my friend, are going to take over this broken world. We are going to put it back together and save everyone, one soul at a time. Starting today. With you. He speaks nonsense yet again, and yet again he sounds serious. What does he mean? What is on his mind? Why do I feel shivering crawling down my spine as I stare into his blue eyes?
That is a nice dream and all, but it will not come to fruition unless we manage to escape this place first, and...
Oh, we're not leaving. We're gonna do so much better. We are going to go back there, claim this whole metal shelter as our base. And we are going to save your brothers.
Do not even joke about that. I have already gone down that road. There is nothing but tragedy awaiting those who dare to oppose the world.
He keeps staring at me, and only the slightest smirk lingers at the corner of his mouth. I know he is serious. He must know something I do not. His mana. It really is different from the other 6. It is exactly what I was what I had been missing all this time, the final pieces of our reality. It was what gave me the power to reignite the final sparks of Surrey and mana into something complete. A miracle. This room is still rich in his mana. I am aware of it. I can feel it. I can finally understand it. The power, yes, the power that lets me bring him from the brink of death.
How far does your true potential reach?
Mine? Not far, really. I can just see some things more clearly.
Then, what is your plan exactly?
He looks at me, surprised. Well, I really can't do that. I really can't do that much, but you. You're powerful, right? You attempted things nobody else would even dare to dream of, and you said you were just one step short from succeeding, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like a little more clarity is exactly what you need. Now, we managed to separate and lure him when we needed it. We dropped a heavy giant metal crate on him, and now he has no choice but to listen to my voice. It is impossible to connect to pack mentality with a monster. Even with heightened clarity and my companion's mana, that would still be an unachievable feat. If it was not for the fact that I still had my brother's anchored to the side of the cycle through my own soul, I permanently broke my own being to keep us connected, in hope they would use me as a way back someday. But this is unnatural. This is against the very rules of nature. I feel myself breaking, and the cracks within me are filled with some chaos that consumed my brothers. Unbearable pressure builds up within my bones, and it feels like I'm starting to melt from the inside. I know this process very well, in theory at least. This is the end of me. And right there, at the end, I can finally see my brother's presence far in the distance. And far in the distance behind me, I hear my companions calling out to me. Now, with this power, my howl pierces through the noise between us. He stops moving. He looks at me. He trembles. The white, glowing eyes flicker. He whines. The liquid light gathers up, and it runs down his gruesome face like tears. There is a clarity returning into his eyes as I approach and put my hand over his giant snout. Thank you. I knew you would come back for me. His skin dries up and crumbles under my touch. Then, his whole body slowly breaks and turns into dust. I have played this moment countless times in my head. I had dreams about it, a fantasy to ease the hopelessness of our fate. I imagine I would flail out of happiness, an endless stream of tears, maybe laughing. But there is none of that. For the first time, I simply feel at peace. I think I'm going to have to end the part here. We're going a little bit long, so I will see you around, everyone.